Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Ooh, dang. Hey, what's going on, yo? Oh, didn't even do no music in the first part. Was just trying to get the stream going. I hope y'all are having a beautiful weekend. It is dumping over here in Austin. I get like, I don't know what happened. We turned into Seattle, I guess, at the beginning of this summer. Woohoo! Awesome. Yeah, everything's super green, so that's cool. But it's your boy Z Rex, no noise. We live just for a little bit. I meant to talk about some pi cycle stuff. I have the ultimate hopium chart for you, so we can get together and have a nice hopium circle session for today. I usually don't do that, but it's something I accidentally stumbled upon last night. And no, I'm not super bullish. I'm not loading up the boat or anything right here, but I just thought it was some interesting information for the not pi cycle, sorry, for the hash ribbons, and I want to share that today, which we will be sharing shortly. So let's jump right into this biatch. Total market cap, chilling. Ain't shit changed. It's all the same crap. Range bound for life. Range bound for life. Kind of trying to make like a little ascending triangle type pattern. Kind of interesting place for that to form too on this bottom. So I mean, if it gets back over 1 trillion, a couple days, maybe we get some momentum back. But we're just not really getting that much value out of those. I think the best chart to look at is just Mama Bear, and the daily just closed too, so that'll be fun. Actually, nope, doesn't look like it's going to be very fun. It is the weekend though, and like we talked about for Friday's video, we're probably just going to stay more in this stupid range until Sunday when futures reopen. So we do get crazy sell-offs though a lot of times on Saturday nights, like going into Sunday morning. So maybe we get another one of those, but hell, even if it was, just a small one, 5-ish%, a couple $1,000, just to these tails or shadows, whichever one you want to look for, or wicks. I know a lot of people call the bottoms wicks. I don't like to do that because it's like wicks are on the top. You don't have wicks on the bottom of a candle. Like you light a candle from the bottom. I don't know. I like the shadow or tails. And that way it differentiates too. If I'm talking and maybe you're listening and driving, if I say wick and you're like, well, what does he mean? The top or the bottom? But if I'm saying wick, then you know it's the top. Tail or shadow, you know it's the bottom. I digress a little bit on a little mini rant there about the technicalities of the candlestick structure. Anyway, all jokes aside, BTC, shit. Garbage. Just immediate rejection over here. Follow through. I mean, it's making lower highs, lower lows. It is the weekend, so whatever. But, man, it just still doesn't look good. Bears have dominance right now. All the way up to, I mean, they might even get it this week, like on a in a dominance power mode. But we'll have to see, because that weekly will close tomorrow evening, and we'll see what it prints. But it possibly could be getting into the power zone, and it's been a while since that happened. Even after all this selling pressure, the last, this little 50 whatever percent drop, it didn't even bring it into the power zone. So that is a little bit interesting, and also a little bit concerning, because if the Bears want to take, let me get this off. If the Bears want to take the baton right now, they very, very easily could do it from this level. I know a lot of people are still in denial that this market could be bearish, but just like everybody was in denial when the pie cycle fired back over here, I couldn't find any YouTube person that even wanted to talk about it. And of course, we can't watch all of them. There's probably thousands, but and a couple of them are just straight dismissing it. They're like, oh, but these 5 other indicators are bullish. Pie cycle, whatever, who cares? It's bearish, but everything else is bullish. And then we lost the structure of the previous markets, which is this trend line here, and then 618, mama, blah. I mean, y'all already know what time it is. And so the daily has been needing to do work for literally over a month now. All right. So, and it still hasn't done it. If anything, it's actually accepting price on the lows in this newfound revisit of the 41 to about 30K range. We'll just call it the $30,000 handle in general. And so, yeah, I mean, we're just back testing that. Now, can we base here? Absolutely we can, for sure. But there's no signaling yet. And right now, it's the signaling to, in my opinion, and what the chart is telling me, is this isn't bullish now. It's neutral to bearish. Oh, yeah, you look at the monthly. Okay, it looks cool. But again, we've done this a bunch of times in videos. Whenever the monthly even taps the 10 simple, that's over. That's called the rally every single time. When the weekly has opened and closed below the 21, it has called the rally every single time, except for, actually, hold on. There is one here in 2012 where we did do a little open and close. But look where it was. It was like above the mama, and the moving averages were kind of funky. And plus, it's back in the day. I mean, I don't really, anything prior to like 2013, I mean, this was just super penny stock type moving shit, so whatever. But, it's closing below, and it didn't actually break down. So that is a little bit different. And so maybe that's what we get here. That would be cool, man. I don't want to be super bearish, but the chart right now is not super bullish like it used to be a month or so ago. And the momentum has waned. Most definitely, you can see the 10 simple is riding it down. I mean, all these rallies are getting sold off into. I mean, we are trying to make even highs around this horizontal here in the lower 30,000 area. But, I mean, bears are still very dominant on DMI. So, I mean, and they're dominant on the lower time frames. And I don't really care about the 3 hour anymore. I just put these back up here if you've been watching for a while. I took them off for a while because I didn't want to see them and it was messing it up. But now I'm only using the 458 as the lowest I'm going to go on crypto. And 3 hour is mainly just for equities, because the 458 is pretty much just like a daily anyway, because that's about 7-8 hours, which is the trading day. So I just was getting tired of clicking this and doing all that. But so I changed 3 hours just for equities. This 8-ish hour, 458 minute is the lowest time frame that I'll make decisions off of for crypto. I might use the crack time frames for scalping entries or something like that. But most of the time, it's just going to be this one. If, like, let's say, and what does that mean? Okay, maybe this flips around and we get the EMAs and everything back to bullish, which they still got a lot of work to do to get to that point. But let's say that does happen, and like this lowest time frame that I'm going to use gets bullish, then I might use the low time frame, the crack time frame, to hone in on an entry. And maybe that might work for you, maybe not. It's just something that I've been kind of doing. And also you can keep it way more simple and just look at the structure to the left on these bigger candles and be like, oh, cool, maybe buy it around like kind of where it is now, and you might get a little bit of a bounce. If we get any lower close, though, over here, 34,000, if we get one of these 458s to close below there, I would be a little bit concerned for this rally because we are still just making lower highs. We attempted to make a higher low right here, so that's why it's extra super mega critical that Bitcoin holds this zone. All right. Daily candle, pretty shitty. I mean, not sexy any at all, but it is the weekend. We're still in the stupid range, so it's just kind of like whatevers. Oh, it looks like the 2 and 3 day just closed. Oh my God, same shit. Look, just right on the bottom. I mean, this is technically kind of a rejection candle, though, from even the short-term moving average. So it's not. It's kind of showing us that the bears are attempting to regain some control. The 3 day is a little bit different. It's kind of just super range tight between 35 and about 39. And so, hell, maybe that's like a really, really short-term range is about, yeah, that 35 to 39,000. And then whenever you see any break out of that, then that's maybe when you can look for, after 39-ish, we can look for low 40s. And then anything back below that 35-ish, kind of where we are now, we can probably look for the low 30s on that. So just not sexy yet. Just kind of hurry up and waiting right now. And the thing I'm going to share with the hash ribbon actually kind of shows that this might be going into a long consolidation zone, but we'll get to that in just one moment. All right, futures, very bearish still. Bearish. About to get bearish. The weekly is up here, but it's not super definitive yet. And it is holding on to a very critical spot looking left of this consolidation before the rally. So, man, that 30K area is super, super important. We best not be breaking 30K or it's going to get nasty. Most likely. Ethereum, bleh, whatever. I mean, it's like not as terrible on the daily. So Ethereum does have a little bit of relative strength. We're not way on the lows. We're kind of just up here between 200 and 377. I mean, if there's an easy vanilla bet on this, I would take it that we're going to be in this range on a closing basis until the weekend's over. This weekend just generally sucks. The weekly, though, for Ethereum is a little bit better, but you can't ignore a 40% candle, right? So, and we got that major resistance at that 2,700 handle, and you can see a couple times we've tried to get in there, and we're getting rejected thus far. But hey, man, at least bears aren't pulling this thing down more, and we're getting a couple potential green candles. We do have about a day left on this weekly. But hey, you have to give kudos to the bulls on Ethereum a little bit for that. But not for Bitcoin, because you can see Bitcoin is below, barely holding on to its 55, and it's clearly below all of the shorter-term MAs. So really, ultimately, just sub 41K. It's not super bullish anymore, and it just is what it is. Bitcoin volatility, what is it doing? Creeping back up a little bit. What do ETH futures say? Yeah, nothing. There's just same crap, stupid range. I mean, it's going to probably be the same. This is probably going to be a really short video. Yep, same shit, different day. Ooh, Ethereum Classic barely holding on. Is this opportunity zone for Ethereum Classic? If you got some balls of steel, yeah, probably actually for maybe 10, 20% risk right here. But am I taking that trade? Hell no. Hell the shit no. Yeah, we're getting pretty heavy pressure right here on the 458. Any price back below $60 is probably getting us to upper 40s or lower 50s on ETC. XRP losing the dollar again, but just the same stupid structures. I mean, all these charts are going to look the same. I mean, it's literally the last week or so has just been same shit, different day. We're rallying up against the longer term MAs, or hovering right above the 200, right against previous structure. I mean, everything is pretty much the goddamn same. So there's not much to really talk about on a lot of these charts. ADA, Ethereum Classic, Doge. There's a handful that do look pretty good. You know, like this one looks perfectly healthy above like about 150 on the weekly. And on the daily, yeah, about 152. 155 would probably get a good move, but yeah, around the 150s. But dude, I'm not taking any of these trades until Mama Bear tells me something better than what it shows now, which is garbage. BCH, same thing, getting governed by this 10 simple. I mean, it's not sexy yet. I don't get how people want to infer this as sexy price action. I just don't understand. I just really don't get it. I guess the best thing is there is this little box that I drew right here for some hopium instead of a hopium. Is about $600 is very good support, and 200 agreeing with that. Yeah, so about $600 is really good support on Bitcoin Cash. Anything below that, I would probably look for some tests of these tails on the candles. But same shit, man. We're just in this stupid range. A lot of resistance on this thing in the 700 handle. BSV, just chilling. Yeah, I mean, this is ugly. This is ugly, right? See if this weekly can close above like 160s, and that might give us a little bit of momentum, but just same shit, different day. Same shit, different day. I mean, it's trying. A couple of these are trying. Dogecoin, ETH, Monero, some of the privacy coins, they're really trying to keep some bids up. And it does look like we actually have made a higher high on the lower time frame. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. That's a pretty good move for Monero. I'll give it a little bit of kudos for that. But do have to be very cautious, as Mama Bear is not showing us any love like that whatsoever. This one actually isn't too terrible. Probably about a 10-ish% risk profile for maybe playing the top end of this range here. Not even all the way. I'd say even this like low 300s would be the upper end of that. But just kind of these oscillators just don't. I'm sorry, these MAs just don't look good. They're just really, really sloppy. I mean, yeah, this range is pretty much its lifeline, about 240 to almost 300. And really, that's just range trader scout mode until we break out of this, or just sit on your hands and wait. ZC, yeah, same shit. Grinding on the 200. Almost trying to be sexy. Maybe we can load. Come on, TradingView. Just whatever, man. It's just not that great. It's just this. If you want to range trade, you can pull up these damn charts. It's easy to see, you know, like, you know, this isn't a newbie trading channel. Like, I'll go over a couple basic things when I think about it, but I'm already assuming you have a little bit of trading knowledge. There's other people that you can go watch for total newbie stuff. And I'm just not really catering to that right now. Could that change in the future? Yeah, absolutely. But I got a family. I run a business. I trade a lot. I mean, I got just a lot of stuff going on. So adding more plates. That's why I do pretty minimal editing, and I like to do them live because then I just put them out there. It's done. I don't have to even do editing, which is very monotonous. Some people love it, but it takes a lot of patience, that's for sure. So Dash, same shit, different day. Doge, yeah, trying. It is above the 1,000, and it is hovering above 1,000 sats, which is its kind of Bitcoin pairing threshold. Not really a higher high there. Let's go to the dollar pairing. Yeah, I mean, 52 cents or 42 cents, man, and then the mama camel hump on that. It's just stupid more ranges, and it's got a wide range on this guy. Pretty much upper 20s to lower 40s is the Dogecoin range. And there is a slight chance of this being some type of sloppy distribution, kind of head and shoulders pattern, sort of. It's not very pretty, but It's not also pretty for bulls' health and fitness either. So we're just lower lows, lower highs. I mean, it's not broke on the daily yet, the trend. And maybe this seems to happen a lot. If it will load, there it goes. And we're kind of just stuck between the long-term MAs here too. Now, is this maybe the first order of successions that it has higher lows and a higher high on the very short-term structure? Maybe. We are finding a little support right now in the mid-30s. I'd say anything back below about 34 pennies, though, probably is going to retest the lower end of this range. But Mama Bear's just got to do something different. And speaking of Mama Bear, we're going to roll right over into that hash ribbon chart. And I'm going to... All right, I'm going to lighten this up because that's the hopium. That's mega hopium for y'all right there. Y'all are familiar with this. We've been trying to look at this every day. I did forget to look at it yesterday. And look what happened. Usually you get the buy signal after these capitulations, but we did not. We got recapitulation signal. And I was like, huh, that's weird. I never thought that I had saw one of those before. But so I went last night and I scrolled back and through the abyss of Bitcoin in history, looking left for a long time, and I found one instance, and it is in 2015, also in June 2015, also in the very beginning of June 2015. So kind of weird. Anyway, let's zoom in. Here it is. Bam, flipped. You'd look for the buy signal coming up. And here we are, first week of June. Oh, I guess it's technically the second week, actually. Okay, whatever. The first half of June. Crosses, and you're looking for the buy signal. A few days later, it flips back. And this is a lot shorter one than we're getting now, but it's the only one that has a similar setup. So it goes into a short capitulation phase right after that. After basing, and if you don't know 2015... this was the giant basing pattern for crypto before it took off in the 2017 run to 20K. So this, after everything right of this chart, it just goes to 20K. It does have one little quick sell-off in the fall before it continues. You can see right here. But after that, this boom, and then it goes to 20K. But I just bring up, like, from here, it goes to 20K. Yeah, there's a pretty big dump after that, but it doesn't break it doesn't come back below the 2014 hype cycle sell-off. So anyway, back to the hash ribbon thing. So it does flip. This is the only instance that I could find that this happened. Capitulation, recapitulation mode, and then 7 days later, when it first started, I believe, is what I measured yesterday. Is it? Oh, sorry, it's only 4 days. So 4 days later, we get a buy signal. Then we actually go into double capitulation again, and then re-buy signal, which I actually need to put one right there, right after that. So you get double buy signals within 2-3 days in the same week. That's pretty crazy. And this is also on a very big basing low. So I was just kind of looking around, and last night I was just like, man, I was like, this kind of just reminds me of the kind of the capitulation, like right what we're seeing now. And so I just, for fun, shits and giggles, and I'm not trading off of this by any means, but I just thought it was interesting. I was kind of like, oh man, is there like a fractal here in my brain? And so I copied some price action. You can do that with a little ghost feed thing if you ever want to do this. You just go up over here and you go to bar patterns, and then you just click it wherever you want to copy some patterns. Let's say I want that pattern, and you can't see it because it's very light. But anyway, there you go. See, and it'll just copy literally this, and you can move it around, draw it around, copy, paste it, whatever you want to do. All right. So I did that, and it wasn't from exactly there, but I was zoomed in kind of like this, and was like, man, this kind of looks like just sort of like it's akin to right now. So I took some of the price action, and to be fair, I don't remember exactly where I pulled it from, but it was over here. And I was just kind of in the zone, TA zone. And so I fast forwarded, And so, okay, so real quick, the only other instance that this happened was actually at the bottom before it took off again, right? And this doesn't mean it's going to happen again because it did take off, but it ultimately was a mini bull trap before the real run started. And then you can see we rallied really hard out of this, and then we dumped to where? The top end of this consolidation box. That's where we're going to be like, okay, that's probably the flip zone. Whenever that happens again, because we fast forward to today, we're in the same kind of thing. We're in a big box. We're just chilling. Ain't doing shit. So if we ever got like a rally, maybe we chop some more and more and more, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Maybe do something like this. And then we rally up pretty strong, right? Maybe to about there. And then we come back and test this horizontal zone. That would be very sexy if it stayed there. All right, so just kind of giving a little food for thought. So now if we do this, it was, what did I say, 4 days, which is not really going to help us at all here because we're about there right now. But let me show the fractal that I was seeing yesterday because I think it's very interesting. And I was like, what? No freaking way, dude. So I saw this little fractal and I was like, man, this looks just like the distribution that we're having now. And I overlaid it and I dragged it around a little bit. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And I didn't change any of this. I just literally copied it and moved it over here. I didn't change the scale on this. I didn't mirror it. I didn't flip it. I didn't do anything but literally copy and paste this bitch. Oh, crap. What did I just do? I think I hit Alt-Y or Alt something. Something that I didn't need to hit. Anyway, so look at this. I pulled this up. And I was like, man, this actually fits pretty damn freaking well on this chart. You got this little consolidation. It's a little farther away, right? Of course, it's not going to be exact. Like, I mean, you can make it exact if you start putting this scale to the left and then I like adjust it and all that. Then yeah, you can. But, you know, we don't want to curve fit that much or really at all. But so I saw this and I was like, this is very interesting. Boom, bam, boom, bam. I mean, does that not look pretty damn similar? And look what it's showing, too, right here. This consolidation is actually on the precipice of a big sell-off. Now, do I think this is a high probability? No, I don't. It's just a fractal. But it is very interesting that it is showing this. And I have this weird gut feeling that we are going to test 20,000 in this, or like around 20K, give or take 5 grand. As the bottom of this move. And then I just saw this and I was like, oh, look, it fits my emotional bias. So this is what it is and I'm all in. No, I'm just kidding. But I saw this and was like, this is very freaking interesting. Because can you imagine this great capitulation happening, right? Everything's pointing to this Fed meeting in June, middle of June. I think it's like the 16th or something. It's not this coming Wednesday, but the following. And so a lot of charts are pointing to that. And here we are. That was just a little side note, digress a little bit. But here we are too in this middle June, something else that kind of lines up with it. It's just weird. And will this come to fruition? Dude, who knows? 50-50. But is it interesting? Let me zoom into the future because we've talked about also, once this finally broke down a few weeks ago, that this is probably going to take a long time to digest. I mean, we were up here for a hot minute, for a few months, distributing on that ass, and then we broke down, and then now we're probably going to have to see how the market accepts this newfound Bitcoin price. I mean, we rallied really, really hard off these Corona lows. So, you know, this isn't that crazy just to come back and test a major zone. And yeah, like we saw the bear market and equities and stuff back in 2020. It was like a insta bear market. It was like, it was like the biggest, fastest bear market ever. And so, you know, we could get something faster and frequency could be a lot more amplified in this market cycle than last time because there's definitely a lot of people in here. But that's all speculation, and I'm losing a little bit of my point that I want to make here for this ultimate hopium. And you're like, well, how is this hopium if it's going to dump another 50%? Well, because kind of follow out to the chart and bear with me here. Look where it comes back into. And like I said, I didn't even adjust this or anything. I just copied it, from 2015 because I kind of was like, holy shit, this kind of looks like what just happened. And so I was like, I got to go drag this over. And I don't do this very often, but here we go. Let's check it out. Boom, sell off, capitulation right here, right? And I guess if we go back to 2015, that'll kind of help me narrow the that area. Yeah, so it was like this kind of pattern right here. It was this fractal, this bottom end. I know it sold off after all this, but I was like, man, this looks a lot like, kind of like what we just did. And I was like, that's when I drug it over. And I was like, okay, let's check it out. So let's finally check it out after my rambling rants. So we scroll. Look where it comes back up, right about 50K, right? And yeah, I could have did it like this or whatever, and it didn't or whatever. But I just tried to fit it to what kind of looked the fairest. And you do that, bounces here, has nice rallies, big runs. If, you know, this is the future for sure. This is 100% what's going to happen. And so you can see this thing bounces, chops in this stupid range, a little fake out right here, like it's going to break out over that 41, 42 area, and then it rolls over, and then it goes sideways for more. And then we're getting into the fall, and we do a little rally up into Christmas. You know, Bitcoin loves to rally in Christmas time. And we get that, and a little indecision, and the sell-off actually right after Christmas into the beginning of the year. And then we get this little retest of the zone. And I didn't copy anymore because I didn't want to cluster up the chart. But what happens pretty much after this is it just chills, and then it starts mooning up. That's why I just put this really cool picture of a rocket ship right here. Because it's just after this, it was just moon time. All right, so this is a very interesting fractal, this part that I was kind of seeing. I know it's small, but hey, man, if Bitcoin did do something like this, this would be super bullish, like a very bullish. This sideways with big rallies and chop range. This is like a really big correction. You're like, well, yeah, it had a big correction. In this example, that would be a 70% drop. Well, yeah, but it was literally only down here for, 4 days or something in this hypothetical scenario. So anyway, I just wanted to share the ultimate hopium chart because a lot of people I believe that they're just going to moon all the way back up. And yeah, I could totally do that. But I think it's a little more likely that we just chop for a little while and have big ranges, up 20, down 30, up 10, up, down 20, whatever. Just big range fest. And so that's the hopium chart of the week or month or ever, because I usually don't do that. But I thought it was just kind of interesting, and I wanted to share that. Again, I am not trading off of this. I'm not going to wait for this to fill out exactly like this and move it over. I'm going to be like, oh, look, oh, it's right here. Here's the bottom now, so I'm buying it. No, I'm not doing anything with that. And that's the problem with fractals is how do you manage it? Price isn't going to copy it or whatever. And that's what we got our basic TA for Mama Bear on. That's what we use this for. Now, I will say that if it did dip to around 20,000, I would absolutely nibble there 1,000%. But it's not based off of this. It's just this is just for some weekend mental masturbation, all right? So wrapping it up, got that out of the way. As long as Bitcoin's holding right around here, let's get my lines back on. This red horizontal, it's okay and very neutral. So between 30, on the macro, between 30 and 40, we're in a big-ass range. On a little bit more micro, it's about 35 to 39. And so until we get out of those little that sub-range in the macro range, there ain't shit to do with this chart, in my opinion. I'm just not going to do anything. I'm waiting. I got out almost everything back over here, and now I'm just chilling. So, hopefully some of the strength in, I guess Ethereum maybe can hold the market together. That would be crazy, but shit, I'm very open-minded, and you got to be fluid when you trade. Be like water, because the tide and the market can come in and change very quickly, and you need to be able to adapt to it. And a lot of people are in denial that there's any bearish activity that's ever happened, I think that's a very dangerous mindset to be in. I think it's pretty much, for me, if we're sub 41,000, I don't give a shit about bull runs. I just don't care. And conversely, if we're above about 32 or 30 flat, I don't care about any major downside. And, that's from where price is now, that's about 15-ish% both ways, roughly. So we're like right smack in the middle of the range. Typical weekend bullshit. And there's just nothing to do here. I need more conviction on these charts. We need more data, and we just don't have enough yet. And especially with the 458 just making lower highs, I mean, that's just not sexy. And it's like the best thing it's doing is it's holding that 34,000, but it's still making lower highs, which by definition is a descending triangle. So, Mama Bear, get to work, bulls. Do your thing. Or else we'll see you sub 30 here at some point if we can't break over this 41,000 level. But we got a lot of work to do. Mama's bearish. This is bearish. We're below the 200. I mean, until we can, like I said, just get back above those levels, it's just a big, fat, nothing burger. So, fun stuff, right? On a positive kind of note, man, there's going to be a time where re-entry in cryptos is going to be extremely warranted. And we're just not quite there yet. All right? So I think I'm going to leave it off there. Let's just keep being patient. Cash is a position. Keep that gunpowder. And so let's see what happens over tonight. Maybe it dumps a little bit. I probably would consider that opportunities if it dumped kind of hard, and especially on major supports if we get to any of those. Whichever coin you want to look at, they're pretty soundly structured at this point. Because that happens, like we talk about all the time, on Saturday in the early wee morning hours of Sunday. There seems to be lots of shenanigans selling. But, just need more data. And until tomorrow, we'll get the weekly closes for mañana. So that'll be good. And we just got all the 2-day, 3 days, which are neutral. 2-day is a little bit bearish, but I mean, it's just right on the bottom of the range. So we just got to hurry up and wait. Grab your popcorn and relax. Price will tell us what to do at some point. It's just not yet. Much love. I hope you have a great, awesome Saturday night and rest of your weekend. We'll see y'all mañana. Much love. Peace.